All right, time for our second semifinals match. We have the MEN-etrics versus the Take Two Tyranitars. MEN-etrics have been sitting very pretty as the 1 seed. They did not have to play a match last week because they earned that first round bye. While the Take Two Tyranitars are coming off a huge win against the Spirit Tomb Raiders. Not only beating them, but getting the first recorded 6-0 in playoff history. So that is ginormous. Their last encounter was around a third of the way through the season, where the MEN-etrics won at a convincing 4-0. I'm going to be real with you. This matchup is just not good for the Take Two Tyranitars. The combination of multiple Intimidate users against a team of mostly physical attackers, the ability to just pivot rain in and out against the Sand team, really makes this difficult to get anything going. It's going to be really interesting to see if there's anything he can do to play around that. MEN-etrics have 4 wins against the Take Two Tyranitars. You know, when you've won the league twice, you're going to have a positive record against both people. In the Celesteela is the top mon for the MEN-etrics with a 14-2 KD. Just a mon that just never dies, no matter what you do to it. And then the top mon for the Take Two Tyranitars is the Excadrill at 10-6. Let's go right into our match now. All right, and here we are. On the player side, we have the Take Two Tyranitars versus the MEN-etrics on the opponent side. And the first thing that I want to say is that the Excadrill, the ace mon for the Take Two Tyranitars, that's mon that's put in the most work, is nowhere to be seen. You know, he was talking to me about this. I've actually seen what his team is, so it's going to be very interesting. I know some of the potential surprises that are happening, but you know, the combination of multiple Intimidate users, Scrafty, Politoed, Overheat on Mega MEN-etric, sells a bunch of levitating mons, just a bunch of ways to get hit for super effective and just very few ways to actually put a meaningful damage. I do think not bringing Excadrill is makes sense here. What we do see instead is a Clam Pearl, which is always funny, but this mon hits like a truck. And for the MEN-etrics, this is the same 6 that they brought almost every single match. This is the 6 that you should play around. There's technically not the Persian, the Liepard and the Seismitoad. Both of those mons have only been brought once, so it's not something that is almost even worth considering. And just he's gonna bring the same 6 mons because they're 6 mons that well together. So I know like some of the lead ideas that Take Two Tyranitars have, so I'm just gonna talk about this strictly from the MEN-etric side. I like leading MEN-etric here, especially because you don't see any Sand Rush mons, so you know the MEN-etric is the fastest mon in the field. So if it's in a good spot, it can stay in, maybe over. If you know, maybe it's like it sees the fortress, it can like overheat it, threaten to take it down to sturdy. Or if it's in a bad spot, it can volt switch them on and just get out of there and just farm Intimidates. And with that, maybe like Celesteela or something like that. Celesteela is just such an impenetrable wall that it's like none of these matchups look too bad for it. But yeah, let's get this match started. Let's see what the Take Two Tyranitar specifically can do again, which has looked like a nightmare of a matchup. And all right, this is a very classic MEN-etrics maneuver where he has no idea what's happening half the time, despite always winning. Oh, you have Alakazam? I didn't know that. Yeah, he had it for a while now. So that is another thing to consider, is that hey, yeah, maybe this Alakazam can actually start popping off here because of it just wasn't even a thought in the mind. But we have the Uxie, not Uxie, oh my gosh, the Dollar Store Uxie, the Mesprit, and the Garchomp versus the this is the MEN-etric and the Scrafty. The Garchomp is already good. Once the MEN-etric Mega Balls is quickly going to get to -2 attack, which is like not a good sight to behold. But it does threaten super effective damage with the Earthquake. And if what do you expect when you see a mon like Mesprit? when you see, like, when I run Uxie, like, you kind of know what's gonna happen with it. It's just not strong enough to where you don't really have to consider what attacks it has. But Mesprit's in that awkward scenario where, like, it can attack, it can do attacks, not that well. But it also could be like a bunch of support moves. But the bulk is like not nearly as good as Uxie, or even in talk about super bulk, it's like Cresselia on the other side. So it's definitely an interesting sight to behold. I wouldn't be surprised if I saw like a knockoff Volt Switch or something like that, or even a hard switch, just so you don't get Earthquake, and just because of Protect Earthquake. And let's see, this Mesprit has like, it's like Trick Room, Dazzling Gleam. Is it like Helping Hand, Protect? I think maybe the 4 moves. Yeah. So we'll see what these trainers decide to do here. There is the Adrenaline Orb. So yeah, never mind everything I said with the Speed Jet. You probably just want to hard switch at that point. Okay. So this was definitely a very funny turn. Is that we see the MEN-etrics Mega Evolve and Protect. I always forget that's an option, that you can Mega Evolve and Protect, just to get the Garchomp attack stat even lower. But the Protect on the Mesprit, just to avoid something like Fake Out or a potential knockoff. Knockoff would bring it to knock off its sash. The item is sash, by the way. I know this. And this is just a really funny thing. Garchomp is back at neutral attack, and it's at +1 speed, so... But now we do see the Cresselia on the field, which means that Trick Room can get set up, which is definitely not ideal here. And Cresselia also gets access to Ice Beam, which is another scary thing here. So I expect some kind of like hard switch from MEN-etrics in either something like Ice Beam or Trick Room. Maybe honestly, I can see hard switch into Scrafty and Trick Room. I think that's a real play to make. And now just, what do you want to do with this Mesprit? Because it's supposed to be like a, what's it called? A mon that is supposed to support the team, right? Like, it's either setting up Trick Room, and it's like not doing it's not in a good spot to do damage either. So I think this Mesprit has to get out of here for something a bit more productive. Maybe it's the Fortress, maybe it's the Clam Pearl to try to cover the Trick Room. If this is Ice Beam, that's bad. Okay, Ice Beam does a lot of damage, but doesn't one-hit KO. Cresselia is not that strong. But yeah, Celesteela, also a very reasonable mon to send out here. Completely immune to Earthquake, so, you know, there's a lot of decent choices here. I just said Scrafty for Intimidating because, you know, the Dark typing to threaten damage, but I have no problems with this. But yeah, just all that work to get the Adrenaline Orb and Swords Dancing again, and your Garchomp just Earthquakes into absolutely nothing. Just the ground type damage just does not work that well against this team. You know, and it's just like so infuriating because you want to have MEN-etrics only weak to ground, and it just keeps Volt switching in and out. It's just like, ugh, intimidating you. It's just, this team is so annoying. Yeah, I expect something like Leech Seed, Ice Beam, honestly, here, and I don't see what you can do. And I think this Garchomp just, I don't know if you want to sack the Garchomp or you have to like switch it out for something. Maybe Fortress here. No, because you Celesteela, like, it's Flamethrower. I don't know if it's running it this week, but it could be. This is just, again, this is already in just like in that awkward territory of this spot, man. And this Mesprit is just not in a position to really be doing anything. Maybe you can set up Trick Room and send out a slower mon like Flame Pearl. But then there also, the Cresselia is also out, so like it can like next turn just like Trick Room back and like reset it. It's just, this is just, it's always rough every turn. Okay, we're gonna see the Trick Room. I didn't even see that but yeah, we see the Trick Room come out. Just a funny turn where you get the Adrenaline Orb and you have the Garchomp and you just preemptively Trick Room, but definitely not a bad idea here. But I wouldn't be surprised if I see a Trick Room back. No, we just see a double into the Mesprit here. I'm gonna say that's a little bit surprising. I mean, the lead seed to Mesprit I guess it's more like the Cresselia doesn't really have another option here. Like, the only options like the Trick Room back or just like attack. Because you know the Garchomp isn't staying in, obviously, in Trick Room when it's at +1 speed, and you just got Ice Beamed, right? So it's more just like, there's not much else for this Cresselia to do. And now we have this Fortress in a spot where it can start doing things. I don't remember the exact stat, but like, it has like rocks. So we may see rocks up. Does it have, I think its only attack is like Iron Head? Not Iron Head, Heavy Slam? Or like, I don't, Gyro Ball? I don't remember. It could have also been Explosion. I don't remember what move he said on. Explosion would be funny. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we just see like we may just see a switch into like Scrafty here. Scrafty's in a pretty good spot where it intimidates the Fortress. It resists Bug. Does okay against Steel. Lowers the attack. Wouldn't also mind to see Mega MEN-etrics in Trick Room, which is kind of funny. But this will be you gotta start being able to punish all this like switching, which maybe now is a good time to get Stealth Rocks, but like, I don't know. Fortress just does not hit that hard, and neither does the Mesprit. Oh my gosh, I forgot this thing was gravitating. That was another thing that I was doing. That's definitely a way to play around the all this all this levitating stuff. And it's especially good against the Celesteela because it goes from being immune to ground to being weak to ground because now it's just a steel typing essentially. It also does make moves more accurate, which we may see later. I do know some of the movesets, like I said, but nothing here that the increased accuracy is going to play a big deal in. We're getting leech seeded. It's kind of annoying. Just a bunch of chip over time. It's definitely in not a bad spot against the Cresselia, but you also got to worry about something like Heavy Slam from the Celesteela. And it's just like, man, let's see what else can you get value out of this Fortress, because yeah, this Fortress is kind of hard to kill, but like, what does it do? Like, when does it start becoming dead weight? That is the question. We're gonna see Intimidate. Yep, and there's Celesteela, the bamboo Pokemon that's a steel flying type that gets Flamethrower, because that's really because it needed that, I guess. But yeah, the Fortress goes down. It does get rocks up, it does get gravity up, so it's not the worst thing in the world. It's honest, this mon probably wasn't doing that much anyways, but now there's gonna be one turn of Trick Room after this, at the end of this turn. And we do get the Beast Boost, which makes this more annoying to kill on the special side, but I'm gonna guess you're trying to kill it on the physical side at this point when the Trick Room ends with a like Earthquake or something. Yeah, this Celesteela is already starting to be a little scary here. Clamperl is a Slowmon. You can maybe start like doing damage with that with its special item and like Scald to try to burn it or something like that, or Muddy Water. One of the moves is Muddy Water on this, so you can like try to start trying to scam people after gravity's over, or it's just a strong, good spread move. And that's what we're gonna see here. Unfortunately, I said this. One is that the obviously it's very reliant on its item, and the Scrafty is in a very healthy spot, and it can just knock off the Clamperl's item, and it just like that's half its power gone. So I was talking to him about this earlier, is that you cannot get Clamperl in a situation where it can get knocked off by Scrafty or it just becomes dead weight. But when you're in Trick Room, it's just like your mons are all kind of fast now. It's just like it becomes awkward quickly. Let's turn to Trick Room. Just gonna try to stall it out. Focus Blast. Yep. That's Assault Vest for you. And something you to point out here is that the Tyranitar was purposely made slower. It's lost like this Tyranitar actually has a minus speed nature, which makes it be able to go faster than Scrafty in Trick Room. Thanks to the boosted accuracy, it did make the Focus Blast land more consistently. But now the Trick Room is over, and now Clan Pro has lost its item, and now the Scrafty can Drain Punch the Tyranitar, and that's going to hurt. And this Celesteal is just getting healthier by the turn somehow. It's just something that will not, you know, die. Be flamethrowered. Okay, I guess so. Its last move is probably Heavy Slam. Then, if it's doing something like that, probably expecting me to KO. And there goes the Drain Punch, and Scrafty gets so much of its health back. Scrafty most certainly AV'd again. Loves running AVs. Scrafty. And we get the accuracy drop, but thanks to he used the increased accuracy to land the Muddy Water, but then you decrease the accuracy. But because gravity's still up, the decrease in accuracy doesn't matter as much anymore. It's just a very funny thing that's happening. Sandstorm is up. Wait, does it end right now? No, it does not. So the Clan Pro dies this turn. You can just you can double protect if you want to make sure to have it die. You don't really need to do that, honestly. You can just kill it, or you can just there's a lot of it. Just yeah, this is already looking almost like game over, to be honest. Alakazam is gonna have to put on a legendary performance in this against the Celesteal. It's just yeah. Oh, what? We do see Wide Guard here. Okay, Wide Guard is another move that the Celesteal does in fact get, which is because again it just gets everything, because God forbid we get anything in our lives against this mon. Oh, yeah, because of the Earthquake failing. Yep, there's the Drain Punch. And now we're down to just two little Psychic types against what we refer to as the entire world. And the gravity's up. This Alakazam does have Zap Cannon. Spoiler alert, that was part of the reason why he wanted to run Gravity. But yeah, I don't see a way out of this. We did copy a Beast Boost, which is funny. Oh my god, 3%, that's sad. Okay, we get a Leech Seeds miss, that is something. Roselia is gonna be able to eat these hits so well, but I'm assuming this is just gonna try to Snarl here. Definitely a fairly safe play here. Just increase the special attack. Oh no, we're gonna attempt to Leech Seed it again, and it appears. Trying to double into it, just feeling, and another Leech Seed miss. Okay, I just need 8 more of those, and you're back in it. That Psychic did KO. Okay. Energy Ball did 3%. Leech Seed finally connects. 3rd time's the charm, and now you can just protect every other turn. Politoad's probably, we've seen Scarf Politoad a lot, so we can also see something like that to do some damage to the Alakazam. But no, we're just gonna go with the defensive core. I respect this. We're gonna see Helping Hand, Protect. Both mons actually have Protect here. So this Cresselia, yep. That is a +1 Zap Cannon, huh? Let's do Zap Cannon going into the Cresselia. I mean, to the Celesteela. I mean, now that you saw that, you gotta switch to Landorus here. You don't want the Celesteal to get blasted by that, right? And yep, that's what we're gonna see here. And I fear we're gonna, yep. And get a little bit more chip. And you can just protect again with both mons. Not even gonna protect with both mons, just trying to set up the KO. And there's the Sash Landorus that we all know and love. And yeah, this Mesprit's just not gonna get there. And yeah, this matchup's just rough. Tried some wild things. Was fun to listen to his ideas and try to find anything to try and squeeze out a win, but it would prove to be not enough here. And yeah, so that means we have the same finals as we do last season, which is myself versus the Manly MEN-etrics. So hopefully will it finally be my chance to win this league? I don't know. We will see next week. I'll see you guys soon. Bye bye.